All right.
Back in
Welcome
action.
back.
Welcome back.
We're back.
We're back.
Oh, good.
Back from holidays.
Yeah, man. It was good. Bali was good, man.
You're looking good.
Thanks, bro. It's just one of those places where if you go, you feel good, you look good, you get tanned. Petrol prices are cheap.
Yeah.
$1 a litre.
Well, you've come back to a bit of a shit show.
Yeah, man.
$3. Oh, I saw last night it was 323.9 for diesel. Obviously the fuel excise thing hasn't come through yet, but yeah, still 320, unleaded around 250. I was gonna say 250, 230.
It's crazy, and I feel sorry for people that have to be on the road, especially truck drivers and farmers and all those sort of people. Like, I think I actually saw an interview with a truckie. It was costing him like $2,300 to fill up a tank.
I think I heard
now
that.
It's like $5,200.
Mm-hmm.
Like that just, you know, you look at that and you go, well, how does that flow on effect into our food and everything else? But yeah, being away and seeing the news, obviously I was tuning into it all and just keeping an eye on it. It is, it's all happening. It's a shit show. And unfortunately, we just don't have any leadership.
Yeah, well, like last night, Albo did his presentation, which was a waste of time. It was a flop.
Yeah.
I thought, like, he did not say anything.
Yeah.
He just basically reiterated the rhetoric in terms of stay calm, it's Easter, don't take as much fuel or don't take any more fuel than what you need.
Yeah.
It's like, we already knew that. Where's the plan?
But unfortunately, there's people out there that go, oh, nothing's wrong. You know, like you and I are watching this closely, and we know that there are answers and there are things that they can do to respond to this and keep people, you know, from inflation and all that sort of stuff, but they don't want to because they make money off this shit, right? You know, and what, an excise of 26 cents? Come on, guys. Mm-hmm. Like, give us 100%.
True.
Like, why not? You make enough money. People believe the words that come out of that guy's mouth, unfortunately. But for hopefully people that follow us and listen to this, and you and I and our families know that it's all bullshit. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all stay calm because shit's about to hit the fan.
Well, I suppose the next thing that flows on from that is inflation, where it's going.
Yeah.
We just had interest rates go up,
and
it looks like it's going to get a hell of a lot worse in terms of more coming.
Yeah.
You know, and you've already got fuel as well, which is acting like an interest rate increase anyway, because all of a sudden now it's costing you an extra 30, 40, $50 to fill up.
Yeah.
It's a natural, you know, you could say it already is an interest
It's a
rate.
weekly expense.
It's a weekly,
it's huge.
And I think people are not realizing, forget about the tank of fuel in your car. It's when it hits Woolies and Coles and the farmers and the rest of it, that's when it's going to become expensive.
Yeah.
Where, you know, a punnet of strawberries are going to be $7, $8, which is plausible at the moment with where oil is at.
Yeah, and we'll see these effects probably in the next month or two, right? We've only seen the effects in oil prices. We haven't seen the flow-on effects because truckies have contracts. Those contracts run for I don't know how long. I'm not too familiar with that, but I know they have contracts. So they have certain prices on products and their travel and whatnot. But as soon as those contracts run out, or they need to step in and say, hey, prices have just gone up too much. We need to do something about this, otherwise I can't provide service.
Yep.
As soon as those new contracts are drawn up, that's when we're going to start to see prices in Woolies, even Aldi, my favorite supermarket store, they're going to go up, and they're going to go up drastically.
Well, I have a few friends in the construction industry, and they're already getting price increases of 30%.
Right. Yeah.
Effective from 1st of April, which was yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's like businesses are moving fast, really fast, to also protect, I suppose, their bottom line, but also to protect the longevity of their business, because now, you know, if costs start to blow out like that, you're not going to be around for long.
Yeah.
You know,
you're not.
And this is where the scary thing is. It's like, where does this stop? You know, we just saw the address from Trump just then, midday here.
Yeah.
And again, very similar to what Albo said yesterday. Not much of nothing, but it looks like they're going to continue on with their assault at least for the next few weeks until they agree to what America's proposing.
Yeah, and Iran's not going to agree. You know, this is the thing that I think frustrates people the most, is the mixed messaging from every angle. Every day, every week, we hear there's a deal happening. They want a ceasefire. Iran's saying no, there isn't. Trump's full of shit. You know, Albo's saying there's no crisis. There is a crisis. It's okay. Go on Easter. You know, like, it's just looking, your head's on a swivel constantly. And like for the average person or any person in particular, it's tiring, it's frustrating, and like you just want to switch the TV off and forget it all happened. But the reality is that they're doing this on purpose. They want you tired, they want you frustrated, because there is going to be a solution.
Of course.
We know this. You know, it happened after COVID, it's happened after the GFC, it's happened when the gold standard came in, it happened when the fiat currency, petrodollar came in. There's always a solution to the chaos. And this is what I've been saying for months now, if not almost a year, that we are heading into a new financial system, and this is exactly the catalyst they needed to provide that solution.
Well, I also heard on the radio as well that they told the teachers to prepare to be teaching from home. So go on your holiday. Obviously, it's school holidays here for the next 2 weeks, and I think this is sort of what Alba was saying as well. Go enjoy yourself.
Enjoy yourself.
Go enjoy yourself.
Because when you get back,
because when you get back, you know, things are going to happen. And it's like they'll have to ration fuel.
They have to,
because if there is not enough fuel coming in, then they will have to do it. They have to prioritise the farmers, the emergency services as well, and naturally they're going to tell everyone to work from home if they can. And you know, but that really impacts the economy. You know, all of a sudden now, we're going back to what happened 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's basically COVID all over. It's just another different type of issue.
It's a little bit different this time, because last time, you know, for me, having a business through COVID, it was all about health, right? Like we were worried about getting sick and spreading disease. And to me, it was about like protecting one another. But this time it's a bit different. It's energy, you know, it's oil. And like I know Albo's come out and said, you know, do the right thing, do the Australian thing. You know, they use that Australian thing, like whatever, blah, blah, blah. But we've all been through COVID and we knew how much.
It's fresh as well.
Yeah,
it's fresh.
It's fresh. It's in the back of our minds, and the lockdowns were just fucked. Like they mentally fucked myself and a lot of people. And I don't think people are going to tolerate it.
No.
I really don't. I'm not. Like, I'm going to live my life as normal as possible. The good thing is I don't have to travel around too much with work and things like that, but like, I just don't think people are going to cop it. I really don't.
I don't think so either. I think the next natural step will be to ration fuel.
Yeah.
Like that's the most logical thing for them to do.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that they can increase fuel supply here that fast. You know, even if they want to build a plant or get fuel.
They can't.
They can't do it. It's going to take too long.
Yeah.
So it's a really short-term, quick problem that they need to solve. And the only way you can solve that is either more supply, which they can't do. They have to try and taper off demand. And they'll taper off demand by saying, hey, you can only get this much, which will allow you to travel this far. You know, I was actually impressed by the Victorian government and the Tasmanian government.
Yeah.
They gave free travel on public transport. And
I feel like they really need to, though.
they have other issues, but I thought that was very proactive of them to say, hey, well, we have issues with fuel. We want to keep you traveling around, so we're going to give you free public transport. You know?
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, if the government does steps like that, I think it will definitely help. It's not going to solve the problem though.
It's not. They need a long-term solution, and I think there will be a long-term solution, and that will come out, you know, fairly soon, I think. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. A lot of people buying EV cars. I saw they went up 100% sales last month.
Look, the EV cars, it's a bit of a, like, you know, it's a knee-jerk reaction, and I understand it. Like, okay, hey, well, it's going to cost me more to fill up. Let me get an EV. Okay, EVs are great, don't get me wrong, but that's not where the costs in your budget are going to come from.
No,
you're going to save.
It's everywhere else.
It's everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're going to save $80 a week, or maybe $120.
You still got to buy a brand new car.
You're going to buy a brand new car, and you still got to eat.
Yeah.
You know, eating is what I think people are not really realizing. It's how expensive everything else is going to get.
I actually went to the supermarket yesterday, and I noticed that the rice and pasta and things like that were starting to.
I noticed Weet-Bix
got a little missing.
$5 to $7, and I was like, what?
And people were like, there was not much left on the shelves. Like, they were restocked pretty quickly, but I noticed that I think a few people are getting a bit worried about the supply getting out there as well.
Well, they're saying now that there's going to be 3 more rate rises. Like,
there is definitely going to be 3 more rate rises.
And it's like, you know, imagine all those people that bought into the market, first-home buyers, the 5% deposit scheme, get into the market. Firstly, they went in hot, probably overpaid a bit as well, on the assumption that things were going to get cheaper. Now it's gone completely the opposite.
Yeah.
2 rate hikes already. If there's another 3, that's 1.25%. And saying that, like, okay, it's not massive, but if you have $1 million mortgage,
It's massive when everything else is going up.
yeah,
Because, you know, by the end of the year, you look at 3 more rate rises, you're looking at what, 6 or 7%, which is huge.
which is huge.
It's a massive amount. Not to mention, for the first time, and I think you did a post on this, is that we're seeing a lot more supply on the markets and a lot less demand. And we're starting to see the trend of the house prices go down.
Yeah, well, it's just a natural effect as well. It's like if you're looking to buy it, you know, you'd be like, well, do I just wait? Are things going to get worse?
Yeah.
And now again, it starts to cause that fear in the market. It's like, well, if we wait 3 months, 6 months, will the prices be cheaper than now? And you probably will just hold off.
Yeah.
Because you'll be like, well, everything else is getting more expensive, interest rates are going up, so I'm just going to hold. If I can buy that $1.2 million house for 1.1
Yeah.
in 6 months' time,
Yeah.
you're going to take that gamble.
You're going to wait. Because you know it's going to get cheaper. Interesting, because this is probably what's going to lead to the rise of AI and robotics and all that sort of stuff.
Well, I think this is also a reaction to what's going on, because it's like, you know, and I can tell you personally, like, we're looking for people to work. Nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to work from home. They don't want to come into the office, which I'm happy with a mix, like a hybrid approach. But if you have never got a job before with us, for example, and you want to start off 5 days a week from home, I don't think that works.
But this is kind of like, when you think about like what you just said, you know, people don't really want to work much anymore. And I actually, in one of my gyms, I was training. It was a Saturday morning or a Friday morning. I was training and I just finished the session, and one of our long-standing members has been with us for the whole time we've been open. He came up to me and he goes, mate, I can't wait for AI and robotics to take over. He goes, fuck working with people, I'm over it. Mm-hmm. You know, and just hearing that come out of a person's mouth, and I think a lot of people probably feel the same way, that's kind of the goal. Mm-hmm. The goal is to get people so tired and fed up with working that through chaos and organised, you know, reset, people don't want to work. And then all of a sudden you've got AI and robotics coming out, and then a universal basic income comes along and people are like, yep, I'll take that.
Well, it's sweeping the US. You know, like I think Oracle just got rid of so many thousands of people yesterday.
Look at Claude, that AI.
Oh yeah, insane.
It's insane.
It's insane. Like the stuff that it can do.
It does everything.
It blows your mind.
It does, and like we've brought this up a few times. I don't think people really comprehend what AI is capable of. It's capable of almost everything.
Well, it's definitely better than already a human.
Yeah.
Like the way that it learns, the way it can pick up, it can multitask, not get tired, and it's very cheap to run as well. Like you may be paying $100 a month for the subscription, and you will use that thing to the bone.
Yeah.
You know? And this is this is where AI is coming, and it's, you know, there's a lot of people that don't want to jump onto the bandwagon. They're a bit scared of it, but it's coming regardless.
I think you have to get into AI and understand how it works and build a business around it, or you really need to build a personal brand.
It's all personal brand for me.
Yeah, I firmly believe that like you need to create some sort of niche where people are buying who you are, not what you do. Mm-hmm. Because I think the times of running, you know, most businesses and having jobs where you sit down at a desk,
they're done.
They're finishing. And it's happening sooner than everyone thinks. I think people think like maybe 2045, 2050, something like that. I'm saying like 2030, most people are unemployed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, look, I think there's going to be definitely different types of jobs, different skill sets, but I do think that people are not realizing how fast this thing is moving. Yeah. And unless you're watching, if you're watching and you're in it, you're like, damn, it's fast. It's fast. Yeah. You know? But people say to me as well, they're like, oh, it's not coming for another 10 years.
But even if it was coming in 10 years, that's really not that far away.
It's not that far.
Right? But it's happening much sooner than 10 years.
And the way that's like you talk about Claude, you've got Perplexity, you've got all these other apps. The speed at which things are moving, it's insane. Claude has only been around for 2 months. Or 3 months. It's been around before then, but before it became really mainstream, it's only been a couple of months, and since then
it's going to get so much better.
It's going to only get better. Like it's getting better and better and better. So
it's insane. Did you see Melania Trump, whatever her name is,
with the robot,
came out with the robot?
That's insane.
And dude, they were even talking about like the future of teaching.
Oh yeah,
that robots were going to be teaching kids at home.
Look, we already have agreed that we're going to be buying robots. They reckon by the end of next year, they're going to be here.
Yeah.
Like in the house, like inside my house. Like,
Yeah.
Like, so if that's possible, if that type of technology is possible
By the end of next year,
then where do you reckon AI is? Like, it's so much further than what they're letting on as well.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the tech that they have will be a lot higher than what we get.
what we know, yeah,
you know?
for sure.
So, and even like all the war that's happening at the moment, a lot of it's getting fought by AI.
AI, yeah.
You know?
Missile systems are all AI.
All automatic.
Interesting comments from Trump through the week that I really picked up on was fend for yourselves.
Well, I think he's definitely pushing back on countries relying on the US too much. I think especially with military, NATO, he's basically saying to them, hey, it's time that everyone pulls their finger out and contributes to the security of the world.
Do you think it's about the security of the world though, or do you think it's about the change in how we pay for things? Because we've been in the system of the petrodollar for the last 50 years. And Iran have specifically said in their negotiations, we want a new payment system. That was the one that stood out to me the most. Now, what Trump says about looking after yourselves signals to me that you're no longer going to be using the US dollar to buy your oil. Trump has his oil. Trump went to Venezuela. He got his oil, right? Now, the war in Iran, before the beginning of the war, it's always been about regime change. But we've heard nothing about the regime changing, only that Trump says it's changed, which it hasn't, obviously, because his son is there. The only thing that we've seen is the bombing of the oil refineries, and soon enough, the bombing of every other energy infrastructure in Iran.
Well, that's what he just said. He goes, we're going to take him out.
Why are we bombing oil, right? Or why are the US bombing oil if it's about regime change? What the fuck does oil have to do with the regime?
Yeah. Well, this is where I think you and I disagree a bit. I think he's going into Iran because, I agree, because they want to change away from the petrodollar.
Yeah.
And America said, well, the petrodollar is basically their number one asset. They control the world with it. And if you don't use it, we're going to take you out. That's what I think he's doing. That's my view.
So what, do you think that by bombing their energy, he's taken away their ability to say no to the US dollar, and then he wants to sell oil to the world using the US dollar?
I still think he wants to sell oil in US dollars because that's their number one asset. It's a national security issue. They basically, if you use a US dollar anywhere in the world, it goes through the international banking system, which is the Fed.
But the only problem with that is that the US dollar is in too much debt.
This is true, but remember, when you control how much debt that you can produce and how much debt you can use and all the rest of it, they're basically the biggest boys in the park. And yeah, look, he may get the oil to resell it. You know, I saw a cheeky tweet the other day. I think he was saying it to the UK Prime Minister. He was like, well, defend for yourselves, but if not,
come and see us.
You can come see us, we'll sell you some oil. So it's like, you know, I think, and this has been planned out, this
has been planned out for a long time, over a decade.
For a long time. So it's like, I think it's like, if you're not going to protect yourselves, you need the oil, you're going to use the US dollar. Or you can just use us to protect you and use the US dollar. That's sort of my thinking.
It's interesting, and I do see, you know, the thought process in that. So my thought process is that they're in too much, like the country's in too much debt, 39 trillion. The fiat currency has run its course. They needed to create some chaos, organized chaos, to create a new infrastructure and a new payment system. And my theory is that they're going to move to a digital rail, and that countries are now going to be looking for sovereignty. They're not going to want to rely on the US anymore because Trump has said, look after yourselves. So my theory is that each country, and they already have done this, is going to come out with their digital dollar and run it on the ledger, the XRP ledger, and pay for oil through a new payment system. Now, the question is whether or not it's from Iran or America or Russia. I don't know. It could come from any of them. It could come from Israel, because Israel has been talking about oil being purchased from them.
Yeah, look, I also find it interesting that, like, you've got Iran bombing Saudi Arabia, like their airports and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not doing much about it. So that also gets me a bit off guard.
Yeah.
As well, it's like why aren't we reacting? You know, it sounds like they want to keep the price of oil elevated for some reason, possibly. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my view is, you know, Trump wants to keep the petrodollar or the US dollar in circulation, because if you have the US dollar, you're basically the number one in the world, because you are the reserve currency status. It happened before with the UK. The UK was there with the pound. You had the Dutch as well, and whoever was.
But the US dollar, them having the US dollar was about control. XRP is an American company, right? And the new wave of control is going to be through digital ID and central bank digital currencies. So why keep using the petrodollar?
I think there could be an alternative coming.
Yeah.
I just think, yes, XRP is an American company, but it's not the American government. You know, because
we don't know that.
Because
we think Zuckerberg owns Facebook.
Well, look, like even the $38 trillion number, it is a big number.
Yeah.
But what stops the Americans going to their creditors and say, hey, we need a haircut on our debt, otherwise we're going to default.
Yeah.
And what happens if they do default? Will anything stop? Or they'll be like, okay, cool, we're just going to wipe off this, whatever, a couple $100 billion of debt with this country, but we're going to continue trading, because it's going to be far more of a havoc to the world if all of a sudden you and me stop trading because I don't pay my debts and I don't buy from you at all. That's going to cause a big economic reset, which
we're due for.
Yeah,
we're due for.
We are.
Let's talk about the moon. we went to the moon. We got on the moon.
Yeah, well, I watched it this morning and I was like,
Artemis 2, mate.
Number 2, like it's already pierced the atmosphere. It's already out. It's already there. And it's like, it was impressive to watch. You know, like because I was like, the last time this happened was like in the 60s.
1952, I think.
Oh, I think it was 69 when we went to the moon.
Was it?
Oh, something like that.
Was it 69? I think it was a bit.
Oh, maybe. But anyway, like I was like, at that point in time, they were like, damn, we're going to the moon. And it's like, we're, you know, so many years later, 50, 60 years later, and we're like, fuck, we're going to the moon.
Did we go to the moon that time? We won't bring that debate up. Last time we went to the moon, interesting fact, the petrodollar was introduced. Just saying. A new financial system was introduced last time we went to the moon. So whilst you're looking up, things might be changing down below.
Look, I must say, very coincidental.
It's very coincidental. It is, you know. In the crypto world, they say to the moon.
To the moon, yeah. And they also say rock pool. So you never know.
You never know. But yeah, it's interesting that we are going to the moon, and I think they're building some sort of station there. I don't know.
Yeah, look, it is about building something up there.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that's the reason.
Ultimate distraction, though.
Yeah, like
cool feat. Like it's cool that we're going and whatever. Like, but everyone's going to be watching it.
Well, I think it's one of Elon's deals.
Yeah.
So hey, I want to get to Mars, but let's go to the moon first. For sure.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure on those rockets were his thrusters.
100%.
Like all of his tech.
Has to be. He's got the best stuff. The other interesting thing is that the moon landing coincides with the 10-day warning that Trump has given.
Okay.
So he's given them to April 6th, and that's when they arrive at the moon.
Which is not that far away.
No,
it's 5 days away.
Yeah, it's April 2nd today, April 1st in America. But yeah, it's there's so much happening, and I personally think that today marks the day of the beginning of the financial reset. I think April is going to be a massive month for XRP. I think we see it go to three digits.
You reckon?
By the end of this month.
Look, if that happens, we won't be doing the next podcast from here.
No, we won't. We'll be in my luxury mansion doing it from my podcast room.
True.
But yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to call it. I think we see the shift happen over the next 10 days. And I think we move away from the petrodollar into a new financial settlement system.
Well, the interesting thing is as well that the dollar is actually, US dollar is getting stronger. You know, so whenever war happens or any uncertainty, everyone will always flock to the safest asset, which is the US dollar at the moment, because again, the reserve currency. That's why you see the Aussie dollar dropping. You see the yen also dropping against the US dollar, which is the carry trade situation that's unwinding as well.
Yeah.
And it just seems like it doesn't seem like people are moving away from the dollar. It looks like they're going more towards it. You know, that's what it seems like to me.
Which is interesting, because that doesn't normally happen.
Exactly. Well, if you think that the petrodollar is done and the system doesn't work anymore and we're moving away, you'd probably assume that the value of that dollar would
But
drop.
that's too obvious.
Yeah.
It's too obvious. That's the thing. It's smoke and mirrors. It always has been. You know, things work in opposites in this world, man. I'm telling you right now, you know, the US dollar going up is just smoke and mirrors. It's manipulation at its finest.
Well, they're saying that house prices are going to continue to go up, like, even now. And it's like, if you look at the auction clearance rates on the weekend, things are just stopping because people are like, well, let's work out what's happening first before we, you know, go borrow all this money to put into a mortgage that's going to go up another 3%, 3 rate rises.
Yeah.
You know, so I think now this is the worst place to be in terms of an economy, because when people don't know what they're doing, that's what breaks an economy.
Yeah.
It's not people getting in or people getting out.
I said this in the last podcast. You have to know, you have to research. You have to know where the world's heading, I think. And well, not know, but you've got to look at it. Like, you just have to look at it, and you have to pick where you think it's going to go. And I personally think that in these times, you need to make your bet. You're better off making a bet and losing than staying where you are, because shit's going to hit the fan. Like, the things aren't going to run the way that they were running a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah, well,
It's going to change.
A few people have called me about their super funds. You know, they've lost 15%, 20%,
Dude.
and it's like it's big money. You know, especially if you're about to retire or if you're on the pathway in the next 5 or 10 years, this will impact you.
I had this conversation with my mum just before I left to Bali. I said, Mum, take your super today and move it into some hard assets, because you're going to lose big. She took it out on the Friday. She took it out on the Monday. It came out on the Friday. She got it into a bank account on the Friday, because it takes 5 days or whatever. We put it straight into hard assets over the weekend. And she told a friend at work what she was doing, because I mentioned to her what was going to happen. And her friend called her up and said, yep, I've lost 15% of my super.
Yeah. And that's assuming it doesn't get worse.
It's going to get worse.
You know, like with the comments and the rhetoric that Trump just announced, he's basically saying we're going in.
They're going hard.
Until the end.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and this is why, like, even with the announcements, like you had Albo last night, Starmer, which is the UK Prime Minister.
It's all too perfect.
This morning,
Yeah.
you had Trump, like, it's already planned.
It's planned.
It's already planned. Like, the emergency plans are already there.
Yeah.
What the next steps are going to happen are already planned.
Yeah.
Because they cannot go in 2 weeks and go, okay, cool, we haven't got enough oil, so yeah, from tomorrow we have to ration. It doesn't work like that. These things take time, and they take plans.
Yeah. It's the famous plan of, you know, problem, reaction, solution. You know, and get us tired enough and desperate enough so that when they lay out the solution, we just want to take it because we want it to be over. And unfortunately, if you take the solution that they're going to provide, you're going to be in a digital prison.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think things are slowing down for sure. You know, businesses are starting to tighten because they're not sure what's coming. The fuel prices are just a start.
Yeah.
You know? And fuel is a big one because it's something everybody sees.
Yeah.
You know, you can say, like, the government also passed something this week about now merchants, so people that are selling, cannot put credit card fees on top of their charges to consumers. And you think, okay, cool, that's really good for the consumer. But now it's like, well, a business that was charging 2%,
They absorb it.
you know, they're going to say, well, we're going to charge you the 2%, so the customer pays an extra 2%.
Correct.
They know, right? But now what's going to happen is that business is not going to absorb it. They're going to pass it on.
Yeah.
And they're going to probably pass on 5%.
Correct.
Because now you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it was better before where it's like, okay, cool, I'm going to go with this person.
It's flat.
It's flat.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with this guy. It's $10 for the service. They're charging me 25 cents.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now they can charge $10.50 and they don't have to disclose what the fee is.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, what's the point of that?
It's the same with the excise, you know, taking 26 cents off the litre, but the petrol's gone up over $1, right? And it's gonna go up more over the next 2 weeks. We're gonna see $150 a barrel. right?
Well, the thing that gets me about the excise is a tax.
It's a tax.
And then they get charged GST on the excise.
It's bullshit.
So it's a tax on a tax, and it's like, what?
It just sounds like they're helping us.
Yeah.
But the problem is we don't have fucking oil.
Yeah. No, we actually do have a lot of oil.
Well, we do have oil. Sorry,
Yeah.
we don't refine it.
We
don't have a fucking oil rig.
Yeah.
So it's even worse.
That's
we
it.
have it. We're just not digging it.
No, we have it, like especially the gas. We have it and we sell it
Yeah.
to other countries in the world.
Yeah.
Like even coal, we're like, okay, we want to be green, fair enough.
We give it to everyone else.
But we sell it to everybody else who
Yeah.
burns it anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's the point of that? What's the absolute point of that? To make everyone feel good, to say, hey, well, we're cutting coal because we want to help the environment. Okay, cool. But because of that, we're going to sell all our coal to China. We're going to burn it anyway.
And we help the environment. They're blowing up a country.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind.
That blows my mind, pun intended.
It's like, oh, we want to be, carbon dioxide, save the planet.
But we'll just go and send 1,000 missiles over to a country and decimate and obliterate the country and their oil refineries. We'll blow those up too, by the way.
But
come on.
But we're going to give you a paper straw to save the world.
Oh, God, bring plastic back, surely. Fucking hell. Probably the worst thing about Bali. It's just fucking paper straws everywhere. Anyway, it's been good to be back. Good chat, as always. We'll keep this weekly again.
Yep.
Stay safe.
Stay safe and listen to Albo. Do not fill up your cars more than you have to.
Oh, bro, just fill up your tank. Be Australian.